Hello, right, hopefully you can see and hear me okay. So what I thought I'd do with this stream, I'll just get the microphone a bit closer on the desk, was do a stream specifically on gas masks, potentially, because obviously gas masks get brought up loads and loads and loads during normal streams. Obviously it's one of the main things I do on this channel. But I thought it might be good to just do a theme stream just on gas masks, so people don't keep saying, what's your favourite gas mask, or this and that on this particular stream. So I'll be on for about an hour. So I'll finish about 9 p.m. UK time. Hello, Altrix. Hello, Train Spotter. All right, Dark Rogue 85. Hello to everybody. So this one, if I remember the name right, I'll show the packet when I do the proper review on it. I think it's called something like the Strong M50, but then it has another letters on. It's one that Hype sent me, so thank you to him. And it's one of like the very good Chinese industrial masks, because obviously the Chinese masks really vary in quality. But this is one of their like very good ones that isn't a 3M ripoff either. They've ripped off the 3M filter system, but in terms of the actual mask itself, it's not really a 3M copy at all in terms of how it's laid out. All right, Mike? Yeah, I think Post is just really slow out of Russia at the moment, Eltrix. That's all right, Chris. But yeah, so this stream's mostly just going to be talking about gas masks because a few people keep always saying to me, can you do a gas mask only stream at some point? So I thought, why not do that now? This helmet is the current British Army one, the Virtus helmet, or whatever they call it. I think its technical name is something like the Battle Skin Cobra Revision Mark II helmet, but it's basically the American ECH. It's like a slightly different variation on the ECH. So it's not Kevlar, it's not steel, it's that thermoplastic stuff, which is the strongest sort of, helmet filler there is currently. Stream's working fine for me. Try F5ing your stream to refresh it if it's lagging out for me, or lagging out for you. But at the moment, there's nothing downloading in the background, but I'll just close some things just in case they start trying to download midstream. Well, the Israeli M15, they turn up on eBay now and again, but obviously the problem at the moment is, like everything, lots and lots of stuff, is overpriced or very slow to dispatch or out of stock, Interestingly, I saw on the UK Amazon, for anybody that needs a half face mask, there are some in stock, so let me link them. Not this exact one, but it looks pretty similar. So let's see if I can find it again. Let's see. But yeah, I found it when I was looking for this particular one and a different model came up. It looks a bit more like a direct 3M clone, the one I spotted, but for the price it was pretty good. I just don't need to really buy one right now. What was it called? Let me go back on Amazon and see if I can find it. The problem is now it's not doing like the localized search like it did before. Oh, here we go, recently viewed. So I'm assuming I can just do this much of the URL and hopefully link it. But this looks quite good to me. No, these are like the 3M style filters where it's like essentially just a particle pad. So it's basically just a disc that's made out of some sort of fibrous material that acts as the filter pad, and then they just connect to the mask, a little bit. So the idea is that the air kind of sieves through it and then through into the filter. This is quite comfortable. What looks really odd about it, it's just a half face mask of a voice diaphragm, or you're on about the one I linked. But yeah, the one I linked looks quite good for it. It's obviously a bit of a 3M clone, but the fact that at the moment you can get a mask for $23.99 on Prime delivery in the UK is pretty amazing, considering how awful a lot of them have gone up. And because it obviously uses 3M filter clones, you could just buy real 3M filters for it. The strap system doesn't look bad either. It's pretty much the same strap system on this and all the other 3M style masks. But this mask is, yeah, comfortable. I'll take the helmet off so you can actually see the mask a bit better. But yeah, it's just one of those ones where you've got the so obviously the design's pretty simple. You've got your two dual filter system on there. You've got your voice diaphragm there, exhale valves at the bottom there, which also means sweat drips out the mask because it's been put at the bottom. And yeah, the filters are just like the 3M style ones. If it focuses. There we go. Yeah, GP4s are cool masks. I mean, they're not very practical, but the thing I like about this one as well is it's that clear silicon stuff, so it doesn't affect your vision quite as much as when it's just it'll KP100. It'll just mean basically it's P100, you know, P3 basically. The K might stand for something to do with other like liquids or oils, because I know there's different varieties of P and sort of like FFP3, P3, all those sort of things, but. Yeah, what I've ordered some more of the really good 3M plastic filters. I've got some somewhere, but I can't remember which mask they're currently on, you know, and where I've got them stored. They might even be in my car. But I think it's called something like the 3M 6035 filter, but it's the one that's a plastic, you know, it's like two plastic fiberglass encased particle filters. But they're, like, in my opinion, the best quality 3M filters. All right. I hope all your graduation goes well, Altrix. I'm sure you deserve it. Is that like a university, college type thing? What do you mean, has the therapy fine? I don't quite get what you mean there, Keaton. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? COVID-20, how the OZK suit works. It's quite cool, but sadly mine didn't come with like the boots it, you know, buttons onto. So it's just like a trench coat for me. If you're on about this mask, I didn't pay anything for it. Hype sent it me free, so thanks to him. But he was saying this is one of the quite good Chinese masks to show. As soon as those other type of 3M filters come, I'm going to do a review of it and see if they go on all right. They should do. Well, my therapy will get weaker in terms of radiation contamination, but I've not put batteries in it for ages. Because, yeah, with radioactive stuff, it doesn't get stronger unless you get more, you know, crap on it. But, so, you know, if you got some sort of radioactive dust on something, and then months later checked it again, it would be the same or less. It's not going to get more radioactive. Yeah, that's a voice diaphragm, so it's one of the few half face masks that has a voice diaphragm on it, which is what's quite good about this one. Oscar, currently the Avon made version of the GSR, and they're probably switching it, but they're not saying what they're switching it to. Preppers Underwild says, can you shout me out? Yes, but it's not related to the stream. But yeah, it's got that adjustable head harness on this, which is quite nice because it means you can eventually get into a position that fits most people's, you know, skull without the cables, like the straps directly cutting into your ears. I did Keaton and it broke, so I never bothered with another one. If you've got a Geiger counter that can detect alpha radiation, it can detect radon, because radon just gives off alpha radiation. What do you mean, like one of these sort of straps? Be careful if you do it, because obviously if you break it and it's a useless mask, that's not very good. But any mask that blocks particle, or any filter that blocks particles and probably organic vapor to some degree. No, this one isn't actually a 3M or a 3M ripoff, although the straps are basically a 3M style ripoff. It's a Chinese Strong M50 or something like that it's called. I'll do a review on it fairly soon. But yeah, it's actually a very good mask in terms of, you know, like a Chinese domestically made one that isn't utterly crap. I'm not a fan of the GP7s or PMKs. There's a GP7 up there, look, but I'm not a fan of it because it's a shit face seal on the GP7s. If ever I get a PMKS, yes, but considering how much they cost, no. As I've said loads of times with masks, if ever I spot them for a good price, I'll get one and review it, but I'm not going to spend stupid money on, you know, masks. I've already got better, you know, masks I'd actually use. Not without a radioactive detecting device, a truck Campbell of some sort. Because, you know, if you're in an intense radiation field, there's no way your body actually knows about it until it's too late. No, I don't think anybody designed a balaclava for the GP5, especially because it was a civilian mask. I can see that one, Niam, or Niam, but I couldn't see a previous one. Oh, he said best gas mask of the 20th century. Avon S10. But I would say that, wouldn't I? Right, Richard. But yeah, this mask is very good for what it is. Like I said, I'll do a proper review of it at some point. It's just I'm waiting for those other filters to come to do some sort of compatibility test to make sure it does work with proper 3M filters. Everything I collect is completely legal, military, and surplus. So if you mean, have I got some inert cartridges and things like that? Yes. Do I have any live cartridges? No. But I'd like to keep the stream regarding gas masks because it's meant to be a theme stream. And of course, it's the annoying thing of when we don't have a theme stream, people keep bringing up one subject over and over. When we do a theme stream, lots of people want to keep talking about stuff that's not to do with the theme. So I might have to ask mods if that's okay to time people out if they keep asking stuff not related to gas masks. Unless they're just saying hello or something. But, you know, if people keep asking questions not related to the theme of the stream, you know, that's a bit irritating. So, Canadian C4, of course, is always cool. Oh, no, I don't want to F5 this page. Hang on. Oh, that was lucky. The stream almost died then because something seemed to hit the refresh button. But luckily it came out of a warning saying, do you want to refresh the refresh the page? No, I don't, because that breaks YouTube live streams. Well, all gas masks are waterproof or water resistant to a degree. It depends how far underwater you go and then the valves fail. Do not buy a Myra. Myra Leveshuin, or however your name's pronounced, is basically a company that just buys Czech military and civilian masks and rebrands them. I'd literally say buy from an industrial like seller, you know, ones that sell masks for industries, or just check eBay and see what's in stock. But don't buy from companies like Myra because all they are doing is literally renaming a mask and slapping a massive price upgrade on it. I don't know why you go swimming in a GP5, Keaton, but okay. Depends on the temperature and everything, gaming nerd. With like every gas mask, the hotter the temperature and everything like that, the less comfortable you'll get. I've got only one or two masks that are like self-contained breathing apparatus ones, especially ones for using with oxygen systems or like air tanks. So I've not got all that much interest in them. Don't get me wrong, I think they're cool. It's just because, you know, you'd have to get the air tank to test them all properly. I literally answered you. Hardware stores. You know, so if you want to get a brand new mask, go on places like, you know, Screwfix or places like that if they've got any in stock. But again, at the moment, you're kind of pissing in the wind if you want to try and get a new gas mask because guess what? People have bought them all up. Or you could go on AliExpress and buy a brand new mask direct from China. They're not all that rare, Radiation King. You can find them on UK eBay quite often for like £20 to £30. The problem is trying to find one in your prescription. That's where it gets difficult. If you're nursing, oddball, I would say a half-face respirator with goggles. But make sure you get one with a voice diaphragm on, because otherwise people won't hear you very well. It's easier to buy a proper papper than make your own. I've made my own papper, but it was actually a bit too strong. So while I have the issue with some of the, like commercially available papper units where they don't move much air, the one I made would basically kind of, make your face look like underneath the mask, like, when you stick it under like a really strong hand dryer, because it was that sort of thing. And also it would be pretty difficult to, get it all sealed up and airtight properly and then have an easy change filter system. I'm good, Whitehall, thank you. But again, can we keep this on the theme of gas masks, please? Otherwise, I will start probably myself handing out timeouts if I keep seeing people talking about random shit in the chat. I don't mind when people are atting each other just to say something. But it's, when people keep asking me questions that have no relation to the stream. Oh, cool. Was it in good condition, Gavin? Because I think that mask is one of those ones where if you're lucky enough to get one that's not aged horribly, it's probably quite an all right mask, a bit like the Polish MP5. But if you end up getting, the actual mummified ones, in a sense, they're not good. Do I have a GP7? What's that? The Shum 2012 is really cool, but sadly it seems nobody actually exports them from Russia, or at least not for sensible prices. Otherwise I'd, I've already got one and done a video on it. Laser Point Productions has a Shum 2012, and I think he really likes it, because, it's just a very high quality sort of modern GP5 style mask. For the people who don't know, the Shum 2012 is basically this, but with triangular lenses and a slightly better voice diaphragm. I don't think it has the ear holes either, does it? But it's basically, if you think the GP5M, it's like that, but with triangular lenses and a better voice diaphragm. eBay, but again, some of the posters are just literally printed off. But the big gas mask sign is from eBay, and sadly I haven't seen many more, because it was like a seller that had one in and that was it, where they had a selection of road signs. A truck Campbell, yes, for particle filters, but for the most part, no. Because don't forget, the problem is with, again, I suppose the thing with particle filters is you struggle to breathe through them when they get clogged, but you don't have that issue of a PAPA system because it's moving the air through for you. It's not you having to pull the air through with your lungs. Keaton, no, you can't, because it's not the subject of the stream. If it's properly good tape, eat your vegetables, and no. But again, it has to be like a tape that doesn't let air through. So if you use duct tape or like plumber's tape or electrical tape, that'd be absolutely fine. If you use some sort of cheapo masking tape, air might get through it. You can see them behind me. So the cheaper ones that aren't worth shit hang up. The good ones sit ready for use. Right, for that, Constantly, you're getting a permanent block because I think you're a cunt. Goodbye. Oh, can people please talk in English on the stream as well? Otherwise, I don't know what you're saying, and the mod might just time you out or block you. But again, my job here is not for you to like or dislike my moustache. I do not give a shit in the sense, well, I obviously do because I blocked that guy, but you know what I mean? This has nothing to do with the stream or the videos. So when people start talking about random shit, to do with me personally, like if they started saying, oh, you're fat or you're too thin, I'll just block people like that because, again, nothing to do with the discussion of the videos. Depends where you are, Keaton, but over here, normally Polish MC1s or Czech CM3s. The Czech CM3 is actually quite a good quality mask for, like, paying £10 for it. I've never handled, personally, any of the World War I masks oddball, but probably either the English box respirator or the corrected English model, or, like, one of the later German ones. like, you know, the GM16 or something. But hard to say, really, because I'm sure all of them had pros and cons. Well, my opinion there, Ollie, is still the Avon CT12, no matter how many times that gets asked. Go on eBay, but buying it brand new, you're not really going to be able to buy it brand new because the Czech army, as far as I'm aware, doesn't still make them. So, you know, one of the companies that makes the OM90, I think, is Avec. So unless Avec are willing to privately sell it to you, the answer is you can't. Right, Altrix, I'll load up Discord, even though I hate using Discord when I'm streaming because it just gets distracting. That's cool. But for what you're asking me there, that is just a civilian duty mask. Altrix. If it's a good price, I get it. It's not got the filter on, though, has it? Looking at that. Or it's got not the standard filter. But those are one of the masks where they literally just tape on a filter. So I think it's just got a different model filter taped onto it. But yeah, for the price, that looks good. I'd go for it if you can get it with like decent shipping, because it's a cool mask. I don't think the GP1 is a real mask, is it? Or I've never heard of it or seen pictures of it. The GP2, though, I'm closing Discord again, by the way, Altrix, because otherwise people PM me when I'm streaming and it gets irritating because messages flash up. But yeah, I would say go for that mask if it's a good price. But yeah, there's the GP2, the GP4, and GP5, then the GP7 isn't there as far as I'm aware. And then obviously there are some later GP masks as well. But I don't think there actually was a GP1 or a GP3, weirdly. Because the thing is, you have to understand with a lot of nations is they don't always make lots and lots of things. Britain does this as well, where we have like, you know, like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4 helmets, and then there technically isn't a Mark 5 helmet, but then there's a Mark 6, a Mark 6A, and a Mark 7. As long as you don't buy one that's currently restricted under ITAR routes, it's fine. But the issue is, again, certain people don't know that, and like customs people won't necessarily know what is allowed through and isn't. But the issue I've generally found, I have bought masks from the US, but the issue is generally you're having to pay a lot of tax and shipping on it. If there is a GP1, it might be real. I've just never seen a picture of it. And again, it might be like one of those other masks that isn't technically called the GP1, like people call the GP1. You know, like how people call the GP5M or the PMG2 the GP6. It's like one of those things. All right, cool. Let me have a look. That's pretty cool. But isn't that pretty similar to the GP2? But again, its technical name is the SH2 and SH3, according to this, isn't it? So I think it's one of those masks where, yeah, like it's the GP kit, but technically, but yeah, just looking at them, the GP1 and 2 look almost the same thing. So I've probably seen the GP1s and just thought that's a GP2. But yeah, as said, I'm off the top of my head, I am not going to know the name of every mask in history. And, you know, like I said, I know with a lot of things, people argue about the naming of certain masks because, you know, and things like that, because sometimes they're technically given different names. I don't think I've got any masks in this room, Keaton, that have taped on filters. But essentially, if you ever look at British World War II masks, like civilian duty masks or just the civilian masks, what they just did basically was just tape the filter directly to the mask, because it would, weirdly, the valves are actually on the filter itself, not the mask. Right, the person that keeps spamming the same question everybody's answered over and over, I'm getting rid of. If you're being serious, you should have listened. I'm sorry. But as we've said before, I buy nearly all my masks on eBay. You can buy masks from hardware stores, but very few mask manufacturers will sell you a brand new military mask because you're a civilian. And they like doing bulk orders to companies, not selling individual masks. But yeah, if you ask a question, please listen to the answers people give you, because it does get very frustrating when people answer you over and over and you just don't listen and keep asking the question. That's pretty good. SBDTT out. That's a hardware mask, isn't it? Technically, but it's a good mask from what I've seen. But there's no point me getting one because I've got too many other masks. If it's a current military one, Thomas, it shouldn't be allowed. If it's just a 3M sort of civilian like hardware one, that should be fine. But again, as we said, the customs people don't actually know the rules. This is a massive problem, not just in America. There's stuff you can legally buy, but sometimes people in postal services don't know it's legal to post, and shit like that. And then your order gets held up or cancelled or whatever because, oh, I can't do my job properly. Yeah, I'd go from Sparrow. I mean, as the saying goes, if you buy it, you regret buying it once. If you don't buy it and then you can't get them anymore, you keep kicking yourself over and over and over again, don't you? It's very overkill rants the C50 for the pandemic. I'd say just get any good, mask like this and then just wear it with goggles. The difference in price is astounding, and both will protect you equally as well. I don't think you can, sadly, Radiation King. It's because it's just made from really shitty rubbers and like not real rubbers that just kind of cloud up and go hard and die. That's cool, Gazov. How much were they? But was it one actually used by a liquidator? Because if so, nope, don't buy that. Because the contamination on it would be awful. Well, you're comparing a civilian and a military mask there, thick boyo. Personally, I find Forshida's more comfortable than the M50, but the M50 is a more modern mask. Really, you want to compare the Forshida F2 and the Avon C50. They're the more comparable choices. I'd actually go for the F2 probably over that, or the Skidmask 90, especially if it was a newer production one. But cool. The only problem with 3D printing stuff, though, Radioactive Cow, as we've said many times, is lots of 3D printed adapters aren't made. It's hard to explain, but basically it's like porous plastic, isn't it? There's lots of people that have explained it over and over and over again. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Like the stream, everybody. There's 80 odd people on and 57 likes, so we need more people liking. Oh, and if you want to do a super chat, you can do a super chat. That helps me out. Most stuff about the ARFA sucks, as I've said before. If you want that mask but that's not shit, get a Polish MP5. Because with the ARFA, it's literally a lottery where you're going to lose, like most gambling, because the odds are not in your favor of getting a good one. For a US buy, you can probably get an M40 well under $100, I imagine. But again, I don't know because I'm not in the US. You can always put some sort of material over it as well, can't you, once you've printed it? Like some sort of adhesive varnish that would make it airtight. But yeah, I've done videos on them. For people saying, do you have this, do you have that? Just before you ask the question, just use the search box on my channel, type it in, and then if you can't see a video on it, ask it, and I might have it, and it's just the video's not coming up. It won't let you super chat, Altrix. What heresy is this? Yeah, well, that's what you'd normally use them for, Gazov, is X-ray protection, like the printed ones, because back when X-ray technology wasn't as good. Right, your mother? Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. You had a thing called X-ray scatter, which is where X-ray tubes didn't focus the X-rays well enough to only hit the person, you wanted to give an X-ray to. So what would end up happening was the X-rays would scatter around the room and the radiologist would be hit by them. So the radiologist therefore wore a lead apron to reduce the amount of X-rays penetrating them and damaging them, basically. Interestingly, one of the people in my amateur dramatics group is a retired X-ray radiologist, and she's fascinating to talk to hear about like the difference in evolution in X-ray technology and talking about like radiation detectors and stuff like that. Most stuff is organized, Daniel, but it's not. Sometimes it could be more organized. Like there's stuff I could have put in a playlist and didn't, that sort of stuff, or stuff that's in playlists which probably doesn't belong in those playlists, but I thought it was the closest thing. Probably will, Horizon Move. I don't have any good ideas for it. If something comes up, I'll film it and do it, but all right, there's some very strange comments coming through again, I'll just warn the people saying them that, you know, if you're making weird comments, there's likely a mod will time you out or block you, or I might if you piss me off enough, or I just think you're trying to derail the stream. Oh, but thanks everybody that did like the stream, because it's gone up to 72 likes now with 75 people on, whereas before it was like 50 likes, wasn't it? So a lot of you did actually click like then. I'm really hoping... Thank you, Thomas. No, I do appreciate it, Thomas, but thank you, Thomas. No, I am not drinking beer tonight. I'm on water. And that's not vodka. That's actually water in there. The reason being is where I've been coming off of alcohol a lot more now, you know, because I might be going back to work soon and all that sort of stuff, and I was drinking too much. I've noticed I have the problem now where, because I've been cutting down, on a day I drink a bit more than normal, it hits me way harder than I think it will, because my tolerance, you know, thankfully, is going back to more normal levels. So I'm having that issue now where on a night where I think, oh, I'll just drink a bit more, you know, when it's not even a high amount compared to what I have been drinking recently, I feel way, like, you know, I feel a lot shittier in the morning, even if it's not like a proper hangover. No, it is not vodka. Vodka does look different than water if you look at it in a bottle, because vodka looks a bit more oily. You can see of that it is actually proper water. Obviously, if I huff it, no interesting fumes, it's just water. I'd struggle to do that if it was vodka, and my voice would probably sound a bit different, because obviously vodka would sort of burn your throat a bit. Oh, in theory it can exist military and surplus, but there's not much use for it, because surgical masks, again, aren't to filter air. I know which one you mean, Gazov, but I've never actually handled one. Is that the one they called the MP5, but it was like the old MP5 or MP6? Yeah, Romanian M85s are really good, aren't they? I've got the filter of the Romanian M85 on this C4. The thing I fucking love about this filter look is it gives you technical specs on how long it lasts against certain chemical agents. If it will focus. Come on. Come on, focus. Yeah, see? So although that's not in English, it's basically tell you concentrations of gas in the air, how long the filter lasts when it's new. Thank you very much, Simpfrost. He says, do you know if you can test if a P100 filter is working with banana oil? No, you can't, because it's a vapor smell it will get through the filter. The best thing for testing particle filters I've found is either incense or things like that. Dusts that give off a smell. Actually, tell you one thing that's better than incense for testing particle filters. And that's, you know, when you get washing powder and it's in a box, like Daz or something like that, you know, you can normally, if you open the box, you can smell it because the really, really fine powder gets down your nose. If you've got a mask on with particle filters, you shouldn't be able to smell anything with like Daz or any of those washing powders, because all of the particles should be getting blocked by the particle filter. The meter next to those, if you mean that one, is a Canadian Radiac trainer that does 0 to 500 Rontgen, but it doesn't actually register radiation. It's a training model. So somebody would have a wire going into it with a voltage system. They would set a radiation range. The person with it has to tell you what like the radiation is. You know, it's like for training people. So basically, I've done a video. I think I did a video on the proper Canadian Radiac because I've got both. But that's the trainer module, and then that weird kind of round one is the one that you'd actually use practically. Yeah, it's a Nixie tube clock in the background. But yeah, if people want to see testing an actual particle mask, there's an easy way of doing it. So basically, let me just light some incense because I've got some here. What one should we have? Opium incense, why not? Because why not opium? So yeah, you get your incense stick, that's in frame. Obviously, don't do this if you don't want your room to smell of incense. That wouldn't really work. But I like incense. It doesn't smell quite as nice when it's dried a bit. So let's get that in the thing. There we go. Shit, it's knocked over thing straight away. So that's a load of the powder gone from it. Let's try and push these drawers up so no ash falls down on them. Right, I've lit the incense, so in theory now, there's no such thing as a replica GP5. It's just sellers claiming it's a replica GP5 so they can pretend it's not got asbestos in or any, But anyway, so if I put this on now, in theory, by the time the incense wafts over here, I won't be able to smell it. Maybe go for something from the West Allen, so like a US M17, a British S6 or S10, a French M51, something like that, German M65. So you've not just got Soviet bloc stuff, you get some NATO stuff as well. The helmet in the thumbnail's the Virtus helmet, the modern British Army helmet, or the revision helmet. It's got a few different names. Sadly, the webcam's not going to focus on the writing on it well enough, but the Battle Skin Cobra Revision, or whatever it's called. It's a great helmet for comfort, especially because it's got like that bike-style adjustment thing that tightens and loosens it. Because, yeah, what you do is you put that on, then you can just tighten it for whatever headgear you've got on and get it really snug and comfortable without messing the liner every time. What are you on about, Flink? Couldn't have what? Blowing through a particle filter to clean it doesn't sound like a particularly good idea, but maybe. Altric says, the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. Right, I can very faintly smell the incense, but it's not as strong as it would be. So yeah, the vast majority of the incense smoke is being blocked by these filters. But obviously there's some that's fine enough that it can probably still get through it in terms of micron size. And I do know with particle filters, you generally need a particle and a vapor filter to totally get rid of the smell of smoke. If I take that off now, way stronger smelling the incense. So yeah, that does block the majority of it getting through, but it's not 100%. But that's the only way I can suggest to really test particle filters is stuff like incense or like washing powder, stuff like that. Stuff that's quite a fine powder that has a fairly strong smell. For heavy dust, you want a P100 or P3 filter, because those are particle filters. No, it's just plastic. So as you can see, plastic cover. Plastic on that side, but basically it's just a plastic disc look in there. But plastic voice diaphragms are absolutely fine. Lots and lots of masks use them. And bear in mind, this is a mass-produced, cheap Chinese industrial mask, or like half-face mask. Hype was saying the good thing at the moment is in China, the government is, the CCP is partially obviously to blame for Corona, but what they are doing at least is subsidizing the price of a lot of masks, so they're way, way cheaper to buy than normal. So basically the government, pays quite a lot towards a mask, so everybody doesn't have the excuse that, it's too expensive to buy a mask. And of course, the masks they're subsidizing are actually ones that have filtering capabilities. So, the rate of transmission is a lot lower than just using masks like this, which is a great idea, actually. There's a lot of things I don't like about the CCP for obvious reasons, but that is actually quite a good policy. Yeah, it's actually a ballistic helmet. If you watch videos on the American ECH being shot at, this is basically just the British version of the ECH, but it's not really British. It's just, although the British Army uses it, we buy them from the Americans, and it's basically just an ECH that's slightly different. Oh, that's annoying. But yeah, the high quality vinyl bags are a lot better. But yeah, that's the problem, because I was trying to buy a load of those in bulk to use as like satchels, and sadly I couldn't find that particular model on eBay. You know, all I could find was the really cheap M10 bags. There's no Henry the Hoover in this room. Where are you looking? But there's no Henry the Hoover. There's an elephant on the Phosgene poster, but there's no Henry the Hoover. Don't know what you're looking at that you could think is Henry the Hoover. I see Dark Rogue. Oh, another thing I've got that I haven't done a video on yet, which is pretty cool, is the old British Army Kevlar, although it's quite thin Kevlar, nape protectors. So basically what you do is you just stick these onto a helmet, you know, using the double-sided tape, and then they're to give your neck some, you know, like a bit like the riot things to protect your neck. But, you know, it's pretty good, these. But yeah, they're like a couple of quid on eBay at the moment, so they might be quite good for people just wanting to DIY upgrade a load of helmets or whatever. Because, you know, you could make sort of arm pads out of them or whatever as well, couldn't you? But his favourite Soviet gun, the AK-74. Oh, he thinks a riot helmet's a Hoover, does he? I can't see how that looks like a Henry. To me, that does not look like a Henry Hoover. Henry Hoovers are like that shape. They're not round. No, they're not designed. I mean, you could use it in theory like that, but I don't think it would be very good at stopping knives because it's Kevlar. It's basically just designed to mean that shrapnel and bits of flying shit in the air are less likely to penetrate your neck. If you're just using the particle filters, Brian, with no vapor filters, not really, as long as it fits your face well, because the particle filters don't dry your throat out like vapor filters do. The watches are Vostok. That's not related to gas masks, is it? But Vostoks are the almighty Soviet, you know, very, very engineered to withstand, you know, the most stupid people on Earth, which is why I can have a Vostok and not break it. What do you mean by Russian green naval long sleeve shirt? I don't know what you mean by that. Well, yeah, I do have to wash t-shirts, Henry. You know, it'd be pretty disgusting if I wore the same t-shirt row in a row in a row. You know, it's like I've not got the DPM trousers on at the moment. I've just got jeans on, because, you know, I do eventually wash stuff because otherwise it gets smelly. Yeah, that'd be absolutely fine, Brian, because they're not going to dry your throat out at least. Vostoks, if you're lucky, you can get for like 30 to 40 pounds or dollars. A lot of the time you have to pay more, depending on the model. But yeah, Vostoks are Soviet mechanical watches. This particular one's a model of Amphibia. The Amphibias are the ones people really like. This one doesn't have the date on, which is actually good because it means I don't have to keep resetting the date. But it's just a very well-made Soviet mechanical watch. Dive watch, if it focuses. The loom isn't bad on this one either, but probably not going to focus, is it? There we go. And just for a little bit of OCD, let's put the bezel to the right place. There we go. eBay, Domestos, Bleach, but they'll be expensive. Now and again, you'll find diamond surplus stores or car boot sales in where they're a better price, but sadly, not really at the moment because of Corona. But yeah, eBay UK. I mean, I could certainly imagine Altrix, like a very sci-fi looking old alarm clock on your arm like that with a band, even though it'd be too big. You know, like a Nixie tube clock just on your arm. There are lots of S10s on eBay UK, but they're not well priced. Too many and too much, Alan. That's as much as I'm going to say. Yeah, but you need all the machinery and everything, A. Truck Campbell, to make your own masks, which costs a lot to invest in. Don't forget, there's already companies like Avon that make brilliant masks. Thank you, Heavily Grey. Oh, cool, I'm at 102 likes now then. So more likes and viewers, that's what I like. There are, but they're very big, aren't they? I just thought the idea was funny of just getting one that size and strapping it to your arm. Yes, the rate meters are very good for the price. You're not, for like the 20 odd quid they cost, you're not going to get a 5k CPS Geiger any cheaper than that. As I just said, Lucas, your only options are car boot sales and army surplus stores, or just keep checking eBay and hope you find one at a good price. That's literally it. Military and surplus. The FRR is 40mm NATO by default. The GSR uses a locking sort of bayonet filter. Freem, Scott, Avon. Basically, most hardware companies do do P3 filters. Sorry. But yeah, I'll be off fairly soon. I've been on about 46 minutes. I'll probably go off in 5 to 10, but there was one earlier. Well, I've not actually got gas filters on it, but I took it off because people were asking me about various things. It's hard to say, your mother, because a lot of that stuff has been out of stock with various places and not been getting in really very fast. When I got those crossbows for you, it was actually quite good because there were some in stock. But I know from looking at other things, there's been some, like on some places, that have been out of stock for months and they're just not coming back in. I mean, I'm assuming now that a lot of corona restrictions have been lifted, places can restock easier. No, Altrix, I didn't see your question. I saw you said you were going down the rabbit hole. You said, do the Nate protection offer any? Very little. It'd probably be like level 1 or level 2A Kevlar protection on these. They're literally just designed to help protect you from bits of shrapnel and, you know, like earth being thrown up by a shell. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather have one on and get shot in the neck than not have one on and get shot in the neck. But they're certainly not going to stop rifle rounds or magnum rounds, I wouldn't think, reliably. I mean, if you got a load of them and taped them together, they probably would give good neck protection, but they'd be pretty thick. But the point is, you know, like little rubber ones at the back of riot helmets or leather ones at the back of riot helmets. I'd rather have a Kevlar one than like a leather one or whatever, or a rubber one. I mean, best case scenario would be one of these encased in rubber to give it better protection from like getting damp and stuff like that. But you know, they're just essentially there to give your neck a little bit more protection where there's normally a gap. We'll see. Or even if you're wearing body armor, you'd normally have a bit of a gap between that bit and the helmet and where the body armor goes. So that's the point of these, is just basically to cover up a bit of you know, a blank spot where if there was shrapnel flying, it would hit you there. All right, see you, Altrix. As I've said before with all that stuff, again, I don't want to keep repeating it, but it's, if I find stuff at a good price, I might buy it and do videos on it. If it's really expensive, then no. I don't really like having to keep repeating that over and over, but that applies to literally everything. So the answer is yes, I could do some in the future, but only if circumstances allow it. Best proprietary filter connection, Daniel. The ones on the, what's it called? The JSP Force 8 are pretty good. And I also really like the ones that the GVS Ellipse uses, where you kind of put, they're like good cheek filters, where they basically go into a little like rubber ring that holds them in, and then you put the cover back on them. But I'm certainly not a fan of the 3M type proprietary filter, just because it's kind of a really flimsy little connector ring. 30 to 60 pounds, I would say, Alan Oak, depending on if it comes with a bag and the condition and everything. Favorite military style tent? I mean, obviously the more modern ones are better, but I'll cheat and say those NBC over pressure tents, you know, where you connect them to a blower system that has filters on it, and then the tent basically doesn't let gas in because the tent is higher pressure than the outside. Oh, you're on about a military woolly pulley, Jimmy. Literally Google woolly pulley. They're like the old army jumpers, while they still use them. But woolly pulley, loads of nations use those. Like a woolly pullover, basically. Not off the top of my head, Maggie. I don't recognise the name of it. What are they meant to filter? Without seeing a picture of them, Yorkshire Tom, I'm afraid I can't really tell you much about them. But I do know a couple of variants of Chinese filters. So the refillable filters that China makes are awful. Don't bother with them unless you're using it as a prop. There are some really crap Chinese filters as well that are like meant to be for vapor and don't really work, that are too small. But there are some good Chinese filters as well, both the like metal military style ones, the TF1 style filters. There are a couple of good types, but there's also a lot of shit types. So woolly pulley. You can also spell it like the link didn't work, but yeah, you can do it like that, or you can do it with like IE on both of the words, and they'll still come up. When you say the M51, do you mean the French M51? It's very mediocre for how long they kept it in service, but it was fairly good in 1950, I guess. Right, somebody's asking the eBay question. I don't know if they're asking for a timeout there or they actually genuinely don't know. eBay is where you buy surplus masks, or a surplus shop. Anyway, I'll be off now. It's been a good stream. Thank you for everybody that donated. Thank you for everybody that gave the stream a like, and thank you for everybody that stayed on topic. There was a few weirdos on that got blocked, or people that just wouldn't listen to people answering their question. So after like 5 attempts at everybody trying to answer them, they got a block, because if they're not going to listen, why bother keep posting a question over and over? But thanks, everybody. I will not be on tomorrow at all. If Weapon Collector is on in the evening on Twitch, I will be on Twitch watching him, but I will not be on because I'm out most of tomorrow. And it's going to be a bit of an emotionally taxing day. I'm at a funeral. So I will see everybody hopefully Wednesday for a stream. There won't be a stream Saturday either. There'll hopefully be a stream Sunday. So I think this week there'll probably be a stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, most likely. But yeah, see you all then. Have a good evening.